everybody, whether you're on the East Coast, West Coast, or around the world. Welcome to Coast to Coast. I am here with the Philly Sports Guy and Stat Guy. How's it going, gentlemen?
Good morning or afternoon, or I'm the only.
Depending on where you are. Yep.
Yeah, I'm the only afternoon. So good morning to you guys.
So, how was the event? I saw one of your videos. It looked like it was a ton of fun.
It was a lot of fun. I mean, first off, it was at the manufacturer's golf course, which is this really posh, high end golf course. You know,
it seems like a good group of people for that.
yeah, let me tell you. And it was, I mean, they put us at the first hole, which they used. I mean, first off, if you saw from my first video, I mean, it's a very picturesque golf course.
Mm-hmm.
And from the first hole is up on the hill, and that's where like the clubhouse is, and you could overlook the entire golf course.
Oh yeah.
It also echoes throughout the entire golf course.
So everyone could hear you through the whole course.
Oh yes, that was we were hearing that all day long. That they were like, "Damn, you were killing some of these people," and and that's what Jason Kelsey. I mean, he did it on his podcast. He said he wanted to have some hecklers, and he wanted these golfers to know exactly what it is like to play on a football field by playing golf by people yelling and screaming at them.
That is awesome.
And everybody was fair game, including Jason Kelsey.
Oh, perfect.
That out of work fat guy who now just eats sandwiches from his wife. So it really came off really well. I mean, it was one of those things that it's a day that golf course never saw. May never see again.
Yeah, probably.
But was it was really well received by everybody. And I think we got to a couple people. We definitely got to a couple people.
Hey, if they want a heckler, nobody better than you to do the heckling.
Yeah, for sure. And so I did see this clip. I didn't see it on CBS, but I did see your video grabbing the chugging some beers. I was like, oh man, that looks fun.
Yeah,
Plus, terrible here. So I was just like, a sunny day on a golf course, or here when it's rainy and windy. I was like, this is dumb.
And we started off by doing shotguns with the first four groups.
Perfect.
We slowed down after that.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That being said, if I was actually going to go play golf, shotgun and some beers is kind of how I have to start.
Well, it was a shotgun start. I thought that we put that, and then we just had the shotgun start again, and then again.
That's right.
And of course, while berating these people, and like I said, everybody was fair game. Thank God there was only like 2 women playing.
Yeah. That's probably good.
But it was like Jake Elliott, who was probably the one person that they thought was going to win the furthest drive or have the best round, because I mean there was one guys that had I think the winner was AJ Feely and his group before, because it was a scramble obviously, and they wound up shooting -15 on the course.
Wow.
Which is nice. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And then the one who won the longest drive, everybody thought was going to be Jake Elliott, but I think maybe some of the hecklers got to him a little bit, and he didn't have as good a drive. I think he shanked it a little left. It went off the fairway, no good. And that wound up being Todd Harrimans who won the longest drive.
What did he end up with?
I don't know. I think a flag, maybe a bottle of Buffalo Trace whiskey.
Nice.
So that I think that could have been it. The one there was a couple of, I mean, there was more than a couple of cool things about this whole entire. But one of the things that I did was obviously one of the sponsors of this was Underdog, which is a clothing
Underdogs band.
of Jason Kelsey's,
Oh,
and
okay.
Mhm.
had a couple of bright white golf hats that just said Underdog.
Mm.
And I had every group. There was, I think, 18 or 20 groups that came in. I would figure it was about 18, but I thought that there may have been 20 in total. And every group had somebody who was an ex-player or what have you.
Oh,
And
okay.
I got all of them to sign two separate hats. One I'm keeping,
Sure.
and one that I'm going to use for charity.
Yeah.
So it's a really awesome. Like the hat has now got all these signatures, including like Kylie Kelsey, who didn't play but was walking around and doing all that stuff. Really amazing, uh, amazing woman. You know what I mean? Like to just talk to, down to earth. Jason Kelsey was a fantastic host. Super excited to have us there, and we did our job well. In fact, it was so great. Like you know, when at 10 box, you could overlook the 10 tee box. So we definitely got Jason twice that day.
Oh,
You know,
nice.
it's like,
Nice.
I'm yelling from the top tee box. Hey, Jason, if you maybe do a missionary position, you could have a boy. You know, stop making Kylie do all the work. And it actually
That's
stopped
awesome.
him mid swing to have him laugh. You know what I mean? Which was good. Which is what we were trying to do. We were trying
Yeah.
to get them all messed up.
So they're going to try and do this like an annual thing, probably not in the same location, but
Well, that was the thing. It's like I don't know if it'll be at the same location or not, but it would be amazing if we were able to do it. They said it was the first annual. It's likely that we will do it again. It was a very closed. Like it was very closed. I was not allowed. My first video, I had to do a second take on, which I don't ever do, because they didn't want us to announce where it was being held, because they
oh,
didn't
that makes
want
sense.
an influx of people.
Sure. Yeah.
So I had to
Makes
do a
sense.
second take on that and be like, "Oh yeah, we're just here at the Kelsey outing," and all this time I'm thinking it's for the Eagles Autism Foundation. It wasn't for the Eagles Autism Foundation. It was for the B Philly Foundation, which is
What is that?
so B Philly is our like boots in the ground. They work with underprivileged youth and communities to be able to uh, nurture and teach them on how to uh, be like self-sufficient in starting their own businesses. So think of this as a small business organization for underprivileged high school students.
Oh, that's very
Okay.
cool. And what was
So
it called?
the BE Philly Foundation. So I mean, hearing them talk about it, it was a great cause. They had a couple of their students there with them who got to do whatever the thing. Of course, the beer guy driving around the course was a Cowboys fan, so he got heckled the entire time.
They should have been. They should have been aiming at him.
Uh, and there were a number of different companies that came here to help sponsor this event. So it really was a great event. And like I said, it was a very invitation only. Like there wasn't many people there. Like you didn't have people milling around, and the party was whatever. So it was a lot different, but it was a great time.
Very cool. And I figure might as well drop the link to it. That way, if people want to donate, there we go.
There you
Be
go. I
Philly.
appreciate it. BePhilly.org. Like I said, it was a real great um, organization, at least from what they spoke about. And it was a lot of fun. And there's probably about 6 or 7 of us hecklers. There was obviously myself,
Mhm.
and a lot of the guys that were in the video for the schedule release were
Oh, okay.
there. I think there was 6 of us there, and the one guy with all the tattoos, Dumpy, who, man, I felt bad for him last night because he was lobster red.
Oh no.
He
Oh
was
boy.
lobster red. I was like, damn, you got to get some sun. He's like, no, I'll be fine. I'm like, no, man, I think you need some. We were already too late.
Oh
We
yeah.
were already too late.
Yeah.
So.
A whole a whole day on a golf course.
Well, thank God they did set us up with 2 coolers full of beer, and Surfside was one of the sponsors. Garage Beer was one of the sponsors. So there was a number of different things to drink and a tent. But when you walked outside the tent, of course, the sun was shining
Yes.
the entire day. There wasn't
Exactly.
many clouds, but yeah, he
No.
definitely looked. And we actually had. He he got on the ground, put a tee in his mouth, and somebody hit a golf
Woo!
ball out of his mouth.
0 days ever.
Wow. Wow. So me, as we're doing this, because we thought of nothing but safety with this, I'm standing in front of them and I'm filming this way. You know what I
Sure.
mean? So like I wanted to get the whole thing.
Yeah.
It was he didn't lose any teeth. It was good. He did not get, they hit the ball first try. That was awesome.
Oh, imagine if they divot. They're like, oh, hey, let me tee this back up. I chopped it. Man, nope. 0 days ever am I letting somebody hit a ball out of my mouth.
Yeah, that's that. But great. Yeah, just there was some great content, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. And of course TMZ gets us, and Barstool Sports gets us shotgunning the beer with Jason Kelsey
Yeah.
at the very beginning of the game. So it's like it really was. It was an all in all awesome day. I would have loved to have tried to go on live with you guys, but it was like it was at noon was the shotgun start, and I'm like, how do I try to work this out? And like the first 3 groups came quick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yes, you're right. Beer is not a hydrating beverage.
What are you
Yes,
talking
it is.
about?
Yes,
That's
it
why
is.
you
If you
drink
have enough
Coors
of them.
Light. They have mountain spring water in it. It has the blue mountains on it. It's perfect.
Exactly. Yeah, Frankie. I mean, I wear Jason Kelsey's pants. And we were like he was sitting down there and we're talking to him, and I was telling him how the story of how I got one of his jerseys, of course, and back in the day before the Super Bowl, like I'm talking 2 years before the Super Bowl, my brother won an Eagles jersey for Christmas, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna get him an Eagles jersey, and I go looking everywhere for a Kelsey jersey. And I stop at like 4 different stores or nothing. The 5th store, the guy who runs the store is like, hey, listen, you might have a better chance emailing Jason himself and seeing if he will give you a jersey before finding a Jason Kelsey jersey. And
That makes sense.
yep. I was like, all right. And then of course I found some Chinese place who would make it, and they made it, and it was a triple X that really was only an extra large, and now the letters are falling off, and the numbers are crooked and stuff like that. It was definitely very awkward, but that was my Jason Kelsey shirt story. And of course I wear his pants because I bought them. The NFL has the rights to all clothing wear,
Oh, okay.
worn and unworn.
Oh,
So
interesting.
like after you play a game, the NFL still owns the clothes. That being said, if when they switch jerseys, like when they do soccer things and switch jerseys,
Yeah.
the players got to pay for that.
Oh, yeah. No, I know. Yeah. Weirdly enough, like just your standard uniform companies do all the cleaning and stuff. I remember it was years ago now, but the Seahawks used to use Cintas, just like the normal uniform company that cleans your uniforms for repair shops and stuff like that. So I mean, it was it was interesting seeing them come through, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we got a whole truckload of Seahawk jerseys today." It's like, "Oh, that's funny." So
Yeah. And so, but yeah, that's Fanatics then because they are the sponsor. They're the ones that sell. And it's interesting that you have win prices and loss prices.
Hmm.
That's something that's so I paid less money for the loss.
I mean, that makes sense. That makes sense.
And what else was surprising is that Jason Kelsey wears the same as the same waist size as I do.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So go figure that.
Hmm.
But I guess it's our gorgeous derrieres. So that was my so I mean obviously this has been a very interesting last couple of weeks, and it's not about to end. It's not about to end because I on Wednesday I start my thing down in Cape May, New Jersey.
Yeah, I was gonna say your like 2.5 month long road trip's about to start, isn't it?
Just about, where it's, I'm going to be down in Cape May, and then I'm going to be in Vegas, and then I'm going to be in Chicago, I think, and then it's going to be nonstop. I don't know. Chicago is looking a little gray on this point. I'm not sure if
Yep.
I am going to go to Chicago, but yeah, that would be cool to see him out clubbing all night. I don't think you would though. I'll be honest. He's such a great guy, and of course, the first video that got shown out by New Heights, where I asked if the intern was going to be there, intern Brandon, because I of course I was the night before I was putting together content. Like I want my one-liners to be on point. I want to be able to yell and scream and carry on and do my thing, and I got some content for him because he's the one that makes all of the bets because they got to take their stuff off. They can't hear anything. They're not allowed to talk about gambling at all. And they take that very seriously. So they literally don't even allow themselves to be on the air when he's talking about the gambling. And he sucks at picks. He's terrible. And I let him have it. I'm like, hey, I thought you were going to be here in this golf outing, but I need to let you know your picks suck. So you're lucky you get saved from being hazed. And yeah, I hope you're doing well, Brandon. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So and they put that out right away. Like it was like the hecklers are here, and that was like it set the tone. It literally set the tone for everything. So, but yes, Trey Turner coming back. I mean, we could talk about sports. We don't have to talk about the day in the life of the Philly sports guy. But
Yeah.
yes, he did come back yesterday, and the Phillies spanked. They are been putting a spanking. I am unsure since the NLCS. I know this year the Padres have not won a game. And I think last year they may have only won one game in both the series that we've had. I think that the Phillies have just not just owned the Padres, but decimated them. Decimated them. So,
Yeah.
over the last 2 years. And yesterday was no different. Trey Turner or not, of course they had to put Rojas for assignment, which the reason why they had to do that is because he's the only one with really any eligibility to go down to AAA.
Mm.
I don't like that, Chris. I didn't respond to that yesterday when Schwoon is Kyle month for homers. It's like there was Wawa. Wawa was there, and I tell you, one little shout out to Wawa. Those pink shirts that you sent those guys in, that was the ugliest color pink, the most ridiculous colored shirts. Do better. Do better. Your orange and brown are your colors. That would have been perfect.
Yeah.
You didn't need to go pink. And of course, that's I like it when they start doing Hoagie Fest. That's when Schwarber does his best work. So
Well, and I mean, the M's extend their lead. They end up sweeping the Rangers, and
nice.
they got a 9-game lead in the West.
How about that?
And the Astros creep into that second spot, also 9 games back.
Well, that being said, as we're starting to talk about that, the way that they're playing, they got to be starting to get closer to Cleveland's, maybe even Baltimore.
Yeah, so they are a game. What are they? So win-wise, they're a game back, but they've actually played quite a few more games than the Guardians. So
It's amazing how that's been working. I
Yeah.
mean, it's the same thing. Like the Phillies are a couple of games back now
Yep.
because of going to London. But actually, the Braves have had a tremendous amount of rainouts early.
oh, okay.
So, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see because they added the extra day after the All-Star game. It used to be one day off on either side,
Yep.
on the All-Star game. They added that second day off to be able to do the makeup day
Oh, okay.
so that you could go to any game that you need to make up and play that before you get back on the road again or at home again after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So it's I wonder how they're going to do that. I wonder if there's a couple there may be a couple of teams that have to play double headers on that one day.
Yeah, maybe.
Because I don't know about you, but there's been a lot of rain.
Yeah, there has been.
Yes, there has. Yeah, we had some terrible weather over the weekend. We ended up with to the point we had a couple of small tornadoes out here on Saturday.
They're
So,
always fun. They're always
Yeah.
fun. I like getting Nerf footballs and throwing them in the tornado to see where they wind up.
well,
Try
I mean,
to
these
get
ones,
somebody on the other side to catch it.
these ones are a little big for that. Like a dust devil, absolutely.
I figure you get 4 people on either side. You get like one at each corner of the tornado. You throw the ball in and you play. Guess who's going to catch the ball?
Who's going
Guess
to
who's
catch it
getting
and how
murdered
hard
by
is
a
it going to
ball?
hurt?
That's why I got to do little Nerf balls.
That's right. I don't know. It's probably still coming out of there with some speed, though.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. You better have some good hands and hope it don't hit you in the face because
Right.
that's going to be worse than a dodgeball.
No doubt. And all of us can still hear the sound of that red ball.
Yeah, exactly. Pong, because it's going to make that same pound. It's going to same sound, and it's all Nerf sponge.
Yeah, exactly. That sound is coming out of your head.
Yeah, exactly. The pong is coming between your ears.
Oh, man.
So how was your guys' weekend? Like obviously, I was down in Baltimore for a game. It's like it's been literally nonstop.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of fun. It really has been amazing, and it's.
Well, I mean, that's what you were building all this towards, is to be able to do what you're doing. So,
and it's I am blessed. I really am blessed to be able to do the things that I've been doing and to have the exposure that I'm getting. It's like people are asking me like, what is it? Like, what is this? And it's like I make the joke that the only person who goes to more sporting events than me in Philadelphia, his name is John Clark. And he is somebody who works for NBC 10 and is a sports reporter. And of course, I'm not reporting on the sports like he is. Like he first off, he gets paid, and he gets the camera shown on him, and and I'll be honest, if it wasn't for him initially with the Philly sports guy, it's possible I wouldn't be anywhere near as far as I am now. Like, or it would have taken longer to get up off the ground because it was his video of me that went viral
Oh,
that
okay.
started this with, you know, at that Saints game, the Eagles Saints game where Alshon Jeffrey missed the ball. That was the time when his video got shared out by Barstool Sports, and they said that I was the most, you know, uh, what was the word that they use now? It's like I was the most sophisticated man in Philadelphia.
Right
And
on.
that's how that video went viral. And that's when the kid comes up to me and goes, "Man, you went viral today." And I was like, "What's that?"
What's going viral, man?
Yep.
But
It's a good
so
thing Ryan wasn't the host. He would have described you very differently.
oh yeah, exactly. But that being said, it's he gets to be a reporter,
Yeah.
and I feel like I report for the fans.
Sure.
I'm the fan reporter. I'm not, because I'm not giving you an update. Like, I give you my updates on the game when we do something good.
Yeah.
I don't say, "Hey, what's up, everybody? Philly sports guy here. And Schwarber struck out again. Let's go, Phillies, yeah." You know what I mean? I'm not doing that. So it's only the
Go
exciting moments
Phillies.
that I do.
Yeah. No, I mean, that makes sense. See, that's where it would be tough here in the Northwest because the M's outside of this year have largely been bad. So we just wouldn't have been able to talk about the M's.
Well,
We were taking your stance.
I mean, but I got started this when sports in Philly weren't so great.
Yeah.
No, that's
It's
true.
like,
Yeah.
so it's like that's how, I'm showing up to games and people aren't liking my content because nobody's paying attention to the Phillies, or the Eagles go 5-11 at the time, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, and then fire their coach.
And
And
all of a sudden
like,
you're like, go birds.
yeah, I get all excited, and then that's the only post you see all day long because I wouldn't do posts to say we lost.
Sure.
You know,
Yeah.
where now I'm starting to do we lost posts with, like, in Baltimore, it was great. I had, all this time I'm busted balls. We're busted balls back and forth. Me and the guy in front of me at the Baltimore game. Here he's a pastor. You know what I mean? So that's why I was like, they had God on their side. That's the reason why they won. They cheated.
That's
You know
right.
what I mean? Because I'm not somebody who's going to say, "Oh, the umpires called a bad game" or anything like that. No, they had God. God's the reason.
So it actually makes sense why everybody thanks God if you think about it, because there's so many things that are messed up in the world. He's asleep at the wheel. He's watching all these sports. He's not taking care of stuff. That's why cancer's still a thing and all of that. He's just blindly driving this thing. If he could leave some sports alone and maybe
Right.
handle some stuff.
Life is a highway, and he's going to drive it all night long.
That's right.
But it's those types of moments, like trying to share that with people. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm trying to share the fan experience with other fans, and I think that when all is said and done, that's amazing. That's like, funny, and I think that's why people follow my content, not
Well,
just in
especially
Philly
since,
anymore.
yeah, well, I mean, especially for people that either don't live in the area or just straight can't afford to go. I mean, ticket prices are dumb. So, I
Yeah.
mean, not everybody can make it to a game. So, I mean, it's cool to be able to relay that to people that can't.
Yes. And I feel like that's been really amazing to be as the Philly sports guy. It's like, okay, nobody ever questions why John Clark is at a game.
Yeah.
But I get questioned that all the time because, well, why are you here? Like, what's going on? It's like,
Mhm.
Here's a new one right there.
That's right. The bearded. What's happening, gentlemen?
The bearded bastards.
Yeah, they got.
Not to be confused with the bearded sinners.
That's right.
Which is a very good, which is a great charity group. Yeah, they the bearded sinners, and they are nationwide. So
Right.
I used to be one of them. When I went to the beard competition, I had a little itty bitty goatee that won the most shittiest beard.
That's awesome.
That is pretty great. That is pretty great. If you can't grow a good one, make sure it's bad.
Exactly. That's what it was. I got this nice little trophy that wound up getting dropped and breaking in half. I was like, damn it. It was this nice piece of glass that
Oh,
said
funny.
I had the world's smallest beard or whatever, or the smallest beard of that thing, and it broke in half. I was like, damn it. That was my shitty beard award.
Oh, that's funny. It should have said something like "try again when you grow a set," or
Exactly. So, and I was there as the Philly sports guy, even. So that was even
nice.
more funny. But so
yeah.
yeah, that's the last week in the life of the Philly sports guy. Obviously, I'm still repping the London stuff and
yeah, absolutely.
Trying to stay awake, and because it's like one thing after another after another after another.
Yeah, do you have much jet lag coming back, or was it pretty seamless?
No, I was beat up. Yeah, it's like and beat up and not being able to stop was hard. It's like I thank God the Phillies were away in Boston and in Baltimore, and I had the Thursday and Friday to try to catch up, but I didn't catch up because I'm back home and I want to stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning because it's the 5-hour difference or whatever, or I woke up at 3 or 4 in the morning because it's like at 8 o'clock there and such. So it was, I was really, I've been burning the candle at both ends. Like, yeah, I'm still not caught up on sleep.
StatGuy, are you even in this show, or are you just having a watch party over there? What's happening?
I'm just letting him test Gus's weekend,
So how did the boys do?
Took fourth.
Nice.
Fourth. That's better. That's better than
very, very disappointing fourth place finish, though. Because
you should elaborate a little bit. I mean, you can't just be like, yeah, that fourth place sucked.
Right?
Well, because we lost the third.
You're just kicking dirt around in the outfield. Like, what do you do?
we lost the third place game on a walk-off, so there's not much I can do there because we pretty much had no pitching by the end of that game anyways. I was just pulling straws, just starting to get out. But the game that we lost to go into the third place game, we allowed 14 runs in one inning off of 11 freaking errors because my outfielders forgot how to catch fly balls.
Wow. 14 runs. That's rough.
11 errors in one inning led to 14 runs because we dropped 8 fly balls and we misplayed 3 grounders.
That's amazing.
That was amazingly horrible.
Like,
that's one of those games that's one of those games where you want to yell so bad, but you just can't because you have no words to even yell at them.
That would have been prime time for the baseball version of Football Follies. Man, that's brutal. Yeah, 14 runs. That's rough.
Well, and then the walk-off, The walk-off's a little different. Obviously, when you have an inning like that, and you're at error 4, because you have 14 errors, you're at error 4. What is it that you're doing, telling the kids, so that
these are like 10-year-olds too. So like the 10-year-olds. When they make that first mistake, like you can tell they want to cry, but they try to keep it together. But then that one mistake turns into 2, and it turns into 4, and it turns into 6. Just like it's hard to even say anything to keep them like engaged at that point because all they feel like they're doing is letting everybody down by missing a simple play.
Well, I mean, by the 10th error, as a coach, you're starting to cry, so it makes sense. You're just nothing.
I haven't had an alcoholic beverage in like 6 months, but by the 10th error, I literally told my wife to go get me 2 beers from the concession stand because I had no idea how long that inning was gonna take. I'm like, I'm gonna be here a while.
So, around error 3, do you go have a walkout and have like a team meeting at the mound?
Around error 3, I just kind of step onto the field and I'm just kind of like, okay, relax, like make a play, force out at any base, we can still get out of the inning. Around error 5, you just kind of go walk out there with the pitcher and just kind of be like, this ain't your fault. You're making your pitches. Your defense isn't really helping you. And around error 7 or 8, you just call everybody into the infield and be like, what the F are you doing? Can you please make a damn play? Your pitcher is pitching his ass off instead of throwing 54 more pitches because you can't make a play.
Yeah. And how do they respond to that? I guess by making 8 more errors.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, they felt really bad, obviously, because then the next game when we got walked off, we only had 1 error. So they played a lot better the next game after that. It was just like one of those games where you just flush it down the toilet. You don't even talk about it just because you can't really.
So is that? Do you
situation.
think it was the moment? I mean, listen, these are 10-year-old kids, so I'm not talking bad about them in this thought process. I mean, it's that they're getting this pressure put on them, and the team that's hitting the ball, it's that first error that they make when the one guy, just does it hit in the glove and bounce out? Is that what happens?
It was more like a lot of the kids don't understand that you want to always take those 3 steps back before coming in. So a lot of these kids, like when the ball's up in the air, they take those 2 steps in, they put the glove up, and it's like, oh shit, it's over my head by like 5 or 6 feet, and then they're running and they just throw their glove at it and hope to God they catch it.
It was hot, I assume.
94.
Oh yeah, that's the problem. The ball's carrying. That ball's just carrying out there. That there's no air resistance whatsoever to stop it. So it's just carrying further and further. Yeah,
I think the hardest part for these kids too is we played this team 3 weeks ago, and we beat them 9-7. So like when the inning started, we were only down 3-2. So it's like, okay, well, we've been in this position before against the same team. And then all of a sudden it goes from 3-2 to 17-2, and the kids are like, are we that bad? Is this team that's good? It's like, no, it's just one of those situations where you just couldn't make a play, and you made the team look a lot better than what they were, because the team that ended up walking us off, I think, was a better team than that team. They just ended up losing to a team that hasn't lost a game yet in the other game, which is why they got bumped down to the 3rd place game.
I mean, if you've played sports ever, though, you've had games where it just wasn't your day.
Yeah, that was it. That was the game.
I mean, you can be the better team top to bottom on the roster, and just for whatever reason, you can't hit a shot, you can't make a play, just for whatever reason, like it is not your day.
And you know what? And this brings me to the replacements of all things. Quicksand. It's quicksand.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You start falling in quicksand, and then you start grabbing for people, and then next thing you know, everybody is falling in quicksand.
Yep.
So it's it doesn't happen as much in baseball.
Yeah.
But you do get those innings where there's 11 runs scored in an inning. You know what I mean? Where the pitcher is, he's just pitching the ball in the right spots where people are hitting it, and it gets.
Yeah, the command is just off, or for whatever reason, the delivery's just you're tipping your pitch a little bit or something. Yeah, I mean, you can be just off, and that's just enough.
Like for these kids, I try not to pitch them more than 50 pitches per game, which is typically 2 innings, maybe 3 if you can get a kid that has a quick inning.
I mean, if you're erroring nonstop,
we had like 133 pitches that inning between like 5 kids, and just like at this point, it's just like I'm just gonna throw anybody out there. I'll give them like 15 pitches each and switch because I need to save at least 2 guys for the next game.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's brutal. Well, especially when it's not the pitcher's fault.
No, it's like they weren't pitching bad. I think the one guy had 1 walk and 2 strikeouts in the inning, and he gave up 9 runs, but all of them were unearned. Like, what the hell is he supposed to do? He's making the pitches. You guys just aren't making the plays for him.
Yeah.
So, but the good thing is that next game, they actually had a pretty good game, and it was just that they lost that game.
Yeah, we had no pitching left. Like, I had one guy that was on, I think, a 40 pitch max, and he threw 43. My next guy said I was only going to throw him 30. I threw him 31, and then after that, it's like I got nobody left, so I ended up throwing somebody that has never pitched before, and he gave me 2 innings, but at that point, I mean, he's just had nothing left, and they ended up getting a leadoff double. The kid stole 3rd and then scored on a grounder.
Yeah. At that point, it's almost like you need the catcher. You got to switch the catcher out to pitch because a catcher should be a pitcher.
That's what we did. That's what we did. That's what we did. We switched
Yeah.
our pitcher and catcher basically, and the catcher, he's got a good arm, but he's just not always accurate. Just because when you're throwing to second base, you don't always have to be accurate. You just got to get it close to wherever
Get it
that
there as
glove
quickly
is.
as possible.
Yep.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they said if ever need be, if in a very wackadoo situation, JT Real Muto could pitch.
Yeah.
That he's got like a 96 mile per hour fastball.
I believe it.
That he sometimes will throw that when they clock the throw to second base that it hits over 100 miles an hour.
Oh yeah.
And there's something to be said for guys who could throw a ball that you hear it going by you.
Oh
Yes.
yeah.
Bzzz. You know what I mean? That's cool. I like it. Like that's a talent. I can't do that. You know what I mean? There might have been a time when I could do that.
I can do that with a football, but not a baseball.
Yeah, I used to be able. So when I was in the Navy, I was stationed down in Little Creek, and I'm 19 years old. We're in port, and it just so happens that the Mets and the Marlins in Norfolk were doing a combined tryout, and literally there was probably about 500 people there trying out, and it was 3 days. You got 3 days. There was cuts after each day. There were so many people day one. They said, "Okay, where do you play?" And I was like, "I play right field or center field." So they wanted to see how you track a ball, catch the ball, throw it at home, and they used the trash can. They had the trash can set up. Like that's what it was. You had to catch five fly balls. They want to see how you tracked it and see how you threw. That's it. That was it. Half the like 250 people cut right there.
Sure.
I happened to make it to day 2. And all you did was you ran 90 feet 3 times. They said after those 3 times, they said, "Thank you for coming."
Yeah. They're like, you need to be faster.
Yeah. And listen, good luck in the Navy, guy.
Yeah. Hope it works out.
Exactly. But it was cool that I made it to that second cut. You know what I mean? And there were guys that were just so much faster than me. I mean, it's like when the bar gets set, I may have been at the bar or under the bar, but there were so many guys so much faster than me, and I probably was not at the bar. You know what I mean? Let's face it. I'm a white guy, and even though I was lanky and fast, I wasn't amazingly fast, and I was in great shape at the time.
Sure.
You asked me to do 150 push-ups and 300 sit-ups, and I could knock them out quick.
Yeah. Well, that just means you were fast. You weren't quick. And in baseball, you have to be quick.
Yeah. And so it's like that. Just 3 times. You got 3 chances, and they cut the field. I think down to like 150 people after that, and then the next day you started to do drills and bat. So they wanted to make it manageable because anybody who was in the Navy was there. If you if you owned the glove, you were there. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, hey, maybe I'll have 3 days of godlike, ability where they'll say, "Hey, we like you for the big club. Why don't we buy your contract out of the service?" That happened 0 times, by the way. Nobody did that.
No, of course. But at the same time, you're throwing your hat in the ring. Like, there's no way you're not taking that chance.
Well, and not only that, what that did do was the base had, both in Norfolk and in Little Creek, where I was stationed, had baseball leagues.
Oh, okay.
They were also there, and you just got wound up on a baseball team. You know what I mean? So they're like, you suck for this, but you would be great over here in the C League of this.
That's right. That's right. We got some rec sports over here. We give you beer, so you'll want to show up.
Actually, I was underage, so they wouldn't have been able to say it like that.
Yeah,
but
fair enough.
It was like that. I think I lost by like 4 years on that whole 18 to 21 thing.
Oh man.
But yeah, so I mean those things are interesting. You know what I mean? When you have those types of opportunities. And the Marlins were just a brand new team. Like it was like they needed a whole. That was the reason why they had it. So, and I think that ultimately they wind up signing like 90 people because they needed to fill out you know, the Lakeview League and the A League and the other A League and then the Double A and Triple A. That nobody made it up to the big club. I doubt anybody even made it to Triple A. You know what I mean? Right off the bat. You know what I mean? It's if you're in the military, unless you went to Annapolis and somebody saw you there, there's not really much of a chance. But what you are hoping for is somebody who's 21 years old may only have like 6 months left to do of their thing. And you're saying, okay, we're going to offer you a contract that we're going to give you this regiment for the next 6 months so that you do this. And the moment you're done, we've got you. You don't re-enlist because we would like you to be on our single A or double A team.
That's right. We would still like to not pay you any money, but we want you to do it for baseball now.
Yo, instead of being on a boat, you're going to be on a bus.
Exactly. But you're still going to make $0.
Yeah, you're going to have a similar hat. You're not going to have to salute the manager or anything like that. You'll still hold your hand over your heart when you're doing the national anthem, things like that.
Yep. We're still going to tell you what to do all the time. Absolutely. Well, I guess we'll do the station break real quick. This one is nice and easy. Show is brought to you in part by True Fusion Gyms right here in the Pacific Northwest. There are 3 gyms here in the Seattle area: Bellevue, Ballard, and of course their new one here in University Village. If you use the QR code on the screen, you can scan it with your phone. You get a free 5-day pass for the gyms. They have Pilates, boot camp, yoga, all of that. So yeah, be sure to check it out. And check out their new gym in University Village.
Awesome.
All right.
Like it. Getting people healthy on this show.
That's right. Well, because we're not, so we got to at least promote it.
Hey, you know what? I will say this. You know, all the travel and everything, I have lost about 8 pounds.
Sure. There's a lot of walking, especially as you're cruising through airports. I feel like I walk in an airport more than anything else. They're like, oh, yeah, cool. Your baggage is over there. Your connecting flight is on the other side of the complex.
Now, imagine that happening in Atlanta.
I've had it happen at Dallas, and I mean, that's a hike.
I've had it happen at frickin' O'Hare.
Yep.
That's about an hour walk from one end of the complex to the other. That is a fun time.
Oh yeah. Now, as soon as you look at the map, you're like, okay, well, where is this gate? And you're like, I shouldn't have been wearing sandals right now because that is a real walk.
And I'm one of those guys that, you know, they have the movers.
Oh yeah.
But I can't stand the movers because you have the 2 people. You always have the person on the right side or the left side that doesn't walk, and then you got to stand behind them because they ain't moving over to the right side to get past you.
Yep, and it's
slower let you pass. Yeah, so I just walk, and it's
the only time I'll use them is if I look at it and it's open, because then I'm going to keep walking and I'm going to double time it through that hallway.
Right, exactly.
But usually you're walking up, you see that one person that's just standing there. And you're just like, well, they clearly are super early for their flight, so not getting on that thing.
Right. I'm not a runner in the airport. Like
it depends on if I'm gonna miss my flight.
Well, I mean, I got crushed in Atlanta. I wake up in time, and I'm like 45 minutes away from the airport, and I'm trying to get an Uber. And I'm trying to get an Uber. And I'm trying to get an Uber.
Yep.
And I get an Uber, and it says it's coming, and then it's like, oh, we're looking for an Uber driver. I'm like, yeah, bastards.
Yep.
And then it's like, I've only ever missed one flight in my life, and it was in Atlanta.
I've missed one I missed it at LAX, and where we were in the gate, there was a Starbucks across the hall. It was kind of like kitty corner to it. And so we go and we're getting coffee. We can see the board, the reader board's right out there. We can see our flights on time, whatever. And so then we're like, okay, well, we got we got 20 minutes before it takes off, which means, that's right about where our no class plane tickets that we had would have been boarding. So we're like, cool, let's just cruise up there. And they're like, oh, your flight changed gates. And we're like, really? Because we've been staring at the board. They're like, oh yeah, no, we announced it here in the gate. I'm like, that isn't super helpful, because anybody that would have been walking up wouldn't have known. So then we're like, okay, well, what gate is it? And they're like, oh, it actually took off a half hour early. The board still said
on time
at the gate that we were standing in. And it's just like, man, welcome to LAX. It's one of my least favorite airports.
You know what? Somebody told me a little thing. They said, whenever you can, fly into Burbank.
Burbank's not bad. Yeah,
they said that.
Absolutely.
I don't ever think about that stuff, like, as I'm, and it's one of those things right now where I'm literally trying to figure out, like, okay, let's how am I going to go to all of these places right now, and like as my Seattle trip, because I'm trying to figure. I really want to get to LA to go to one game.
Yeah.
Going from Seattle to LA and go to one game there, and then come out. I just financially and mentally, like, that's the other part of this, is that because it's like on the go. When am I going to have time to sleep?
Yeah. No,
if I don't sleep on a plane. Now, I am really good about staying awake. I do not. It takes, like, usually staying up 70 of 72 hours before I get cranky. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, because if I could take a small little power nap, I'm okay for a minute.
Yes.
That's sometimes that's all I need. There are other times that I need more. Like now, I couldn't do that trip. I need to catch up on my sleep a little bit before
I do pretty well, only because I really only sleep about 5 hours a night anyway.
That's me. I'm a 3 or 4 hour a night. 3 or 4 real hours of sleep. I get up, go to the bathroom, come back, and I'm like laying in bed. I'm like,
Well, like, I included that in the time. So yeah, I mean, actual sleep time, yeah, you're probably 3-4 hours, but that's really all I do. I mean, it's like last night, went to bed at midnight. I get up at 4 because I get up at 4 every day. And, so 4 hours of sleep, here we go. But it's what I'm used to working off of. So
it sucks when you go to bed at 2 and you wake up at 4. Because I do that.
Me too. So the worst example of that, I was at a buddy's bachelor party in Vegas, right? And we get there, it's like 11 a.m. And immediately you're drinking because welcome to Vegas, right? And so we're out and we get back at 5 a.m. And his father-in-law was a limo driver in Vegas. So he's taking us to all these spots. And I mean, we are on another level, right? We are hammered. So we get into the room. I woke up at 6. I was asleep for an hour and I was awake, right? I'm just like, man, come on.
I woke up an hour ago. I went to bed. I went to bed at 5. I was going to be able to sleep maybe till next 4. No,
and you're still, you're still half in the bag because you've been drinking the whole time. So
you're drunk. You wake up drunk.
Oh,
and
no
awake. Like, no ding, ding, you're awake. Now what?
Well, and now it's not even fun anymore. And of course, everybody else is going to be asleep for a while. So you're just sitting there like, this is dumb.
I want to go to the pool. The pool's not open until 8 o'clock.
Exactly. So me being drunk, not thinking things all the way through, we were staying at the Bellagio. I was like, you know what? I guess I'll go for a jog. Right. And which, cool. It's early in the morning. It's not going to be that hot in theory. Yeah. Well, so this was August 1st.
Oh, yeah. The one good thing about doing that is that if you run in the right spots, you can run through all of the grass that's getting sprayed.
Yeah, so that was not the case. That was not the case. So I ran from the Bellagio to the Stratosphere and back, right? which the way down wasn't bad because
How many times you throw up?
I didn't, but man,
You should have.
Where I messed up is I didn't remember that in Vegas, there's nowhere to get water unless you have a wallet, and I didn't bring my wallet on a run. And so I'm all the way down at the far end of the strip now, and I'm just like, man, I could really go for some water. And everybody's like, yeah, sorry about your luck, man. So now I'm running back. It's like, man, this is terrible.
This was not well thought out.
Not at all. But, that's what happens when you do a lot of drinking. Maybe you don't think out your plans all that well.
Not a very good run, I can imagine. So, and normally when I go, I stay across the street at Planet Hollywood.
Oh, sure.
So, and it's literally across the street. But crossing the street over in Vegas is a whole thing. For anybody who has not been to Vegas, to walk 2 blocks sometimes can take you 25 minutes because you have to go
and
up.
How big everything is.
Right.
How big everything is funny because you're just like, oh, cool. There's Caesars. It's right there on the next block. And then you're walking for 30 minutes and you're like, oh, look, Caesars is still on that next block.
Yeah, look, guys, Big Ben, Parliament. It's just
exactly.
It's like it's never the distance. It's never getting closer. It's like that scene in The Shining where it's like he's running down the hall and they're just running and running and running and running. And then all of a sudden it catches up to you. It's like, oh, bam, here you are, welcome.
Oh yeah.
So. But yeah,
I mean, even when you get there, half the time, just the entry walkway is a 10-minute walk.
The one great thing about being in Vegas and being the Philly sports guy was I was able to walk down the streets. Nobody even batted an eye.
Oh yeah,
paid it up as the Philly sports guy. Went to went there, and we had to go to the Luxor. I was over at Planet Hollywood and had to go to the Luxor to do the morning show, which of course at that time, because it's the morning show here and they go on at 6 o'clock in the morning, it's 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm walking down the strip and it's dark out, but the light comes up at like 4:15, and then you're walking back at 8 o'clock in the morning. And of course you're now starting to sweat because it gets hot pretty quickly in Vegas, and and then you want to go jump in the pool, and they was like, no, you can't jump in the pool like that. I'm like, damn it. So excited. I was gonna.
Now they're like, go wash all that off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but it won't leave a mark. It'll just disappear. They're like, yeah, we don't care.
It'll disappear in your shower, is what you're saying.
That's exactly it. Then you're rinsing, buddy.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, that gets us to the top of the hour. We didn't even talk about basketball, so that is something we'll have to.
I assumed Boston won, right?
They did.
Yeah.
They
spanked
them. They annihilated them last night.
Yeah,
and you know what? I which was not a doubt. I was like, I feel like they lost it purposely. I thought it was 2-3-2. I was surprised to see that they were at the Garden yesterday. So I now realize it's 2-2-1-1-1. Same thing tonight. You saw how Florida threw it to Edmonton to. Edmonton scored 8 goals. They were like, oh, let's score all our goals now, and maybe that'll carry over. No, it ain't carrying over nothing. It was just they deliberately were not playing, and now they're going to go win it in Florida. So congratulations to Boston and on their championship. And, I look forward to congratulating Florida tomorrow after they win the Stanley Cup tonight, the hardest trophy to win in sports. That will most likely be the case. Other than that, thanks for tuning in today. If you're watching on our YouTube channels, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps us out. And, of course, if you're watching on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour for your next hour of programming. Take it easy, everyone. See you guys.
Later.